All right, we're here in the NOC here at Cisco Live 2024 here in Las Vegas with Chris O'Donnell. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Great, Dan. How are you?
Good, I'm doing really well. I just got in today. I was a little late here, but thanks for taking the time here to talk to us a little bit about the NOC here at Live.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you may remember Chris. He's been with us previously on Unplugged to show us kind of behind the scenes what happens in the NOC with these large shows, these large events like this. So how are things going this year so far? We're here at, what day is it, Tuesday right now?
It is Tuesday. And just for the record, I was here last Wednesday.
I bet.
So, my team, like I said, my name is Chris O'Donnell. I'm a senior solutions engineer. I work in web scale customers. I get to do this for a week and step into the customer's shoes.
Yep.
I have a fantastic team. This is the wireless team here. And Johannes. Hello, Johannes. He will get over in frame, trust me.
Yeah.
So I'm supported by a really good crew. We got a lot of CX people in our escalation team. We bring in all the top engineers to help with this event.
Yeah.
This event is very unique.
Yes.
I know, Matt Schwartz. People probably know Matt.
Yeah, he's been on too. He's been on the show previously.
Me and Matt always
shout
talk
out
about.
To Matt.
Yeah, shout out to Matt, Matt and Josh. But yeah, when we have talked about comparing notes, like they do the Super Bowl, this is kind of our Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is a Tech Geek network.
Yes.
Especially people come here, they test the network. They're running tools against our Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Thankfully, people are being very polite with things.
Sure.
There's not any, we look for it. We keep an eye on rogue stuff
I'm
and
sure.
people doing weird things on the Wi-Fi. But we have not ran into anything that I'm not
Knock on
testing
wood
anybody.
here.
Yeah, let's not challenge people.
Exactly. Yeah,
But,
it's not an open invitation out there.
Correct. So if you were last year, we were in the same venue we were last year.
Yeah, okay.
So we took over the same network. The only difference is they have upgraded from 11AC, our 3800s, to 9130s.
Okay.
They've also put the 9103 antenna.
Okay. Nice.
Before in the venue, they've always had the antennas above the ceiling.
Okay.
And for people that do wireless, we know we don't like that.
Yes.
But a lot of the aesthetics that they require here at MGM,
Sure.
they found our 9103 to be very pleasing.
Okay.
So they paint it to match, and it's not easy to find, but
Yeah, okay.
if you look for the lights, you can find them.
Nice.
So it's improved the RF quite a bit.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big thing.
Nice.
We have 3 9000-80 controllers running this whole event.
Okay. Wow.
So, if you can see in the back, there's our SSO setup. We have our DevNet team that does a lot of custom graphs, pretty much any KPI data that we want to see. Either we're doing it, or leveraging the DevNet flexibility and their power to get us what we need for as data. Even KPI statistics for the BU. There, we have separate dashboards. Maybe we can get a snapshot of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say maybe a little while here we can go take a look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
Cool.
We still leverage DNA Center. So we are running a Ghost
Catalyst Center.
Yeah, Catalyst Center, sorry.
Just kidding.
I'm still a DNAC.
Just giving you a hard
Can't
time.
give
I
it
do
up.
it all the time.
Yes. So we are using that for assurance. So we do track. We use client monitoring. Some of the things we've run into. We've run into some little interoperability things because one of the other big things we've done this year is we've upgraded the network to WPA3.
Okay.
So
wow.
all the SSIDs here are running WPA3.
Yeah, that's what Salil was saying. I ran into him here a little while ago. That's great.
That was one of the things I wanted to do this year is prove that WPA3 is ready.
Okay, yeah.
The good news is we are running a 17.12.3 image, which is a more later image. We're getting more courageous as we go.
Sure.
That image allows us to also have WPA2 clients on the network without creating separate policies or WLANs. Because before we've had to have customers do different WLANs and do a lot of policy hacking, if I want to say. I hate to say the word hacking, but we've had to have them do that. Now with this new feature, we do not need transition mode. We can allow both AKM types, authentication key management, if anybody doesn't know what AKM. We can allow both of those on the network, and everyone can seamlessly connect. And we've been tracking that. If there's a Sankey chart that Jason Davis has made for us that breaks it out, we're pretty much 99% WPA3.
Wow.
So
wow,
it's minimal WPA2.
Okay.
And it's all older client stuff.
Any issues with clients or what? Salil mentioned one, I think, challenge, but
you
kind of knew about it going into it, sounded like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, with the tools that we have, we were seeing some interoperability issues with the SAE. So we're running SAE.
Okay.
And there's FT mode. We've been playing with FT on and FT off.
Okay.
If we turn FT off, there is the Fruit Company device has a little bit of a interoperability thing where it creates like excessive long robes.
Okay, gotcha.
I say a second, but in wireless terms, that's excessive.
Sure.
But so we do see it hit against us. We track that data. Again, we graph it all out. We know, and we get that real-time feedback. When we turned it back on, we watched everything drop, even our WNCDs. Because we're running 9800s, we have to monitor WNCD.
Yes.
And that was affecting our WNCD process. So
okay, interesting.
all empirical data to make our decisions here. But again, this is a network. This is not a lab. We're getting real-world people here using the network. So we get that, both the user feedback and really good data to bring to our customers. I call it the biggest CPOC.
So what's your main way to gather that feedback? Is it just people coming to like the support desk or whatever here, or social media, all of the above, or how do you your tools monitoring things? I mean, is it how do you kind of monitor that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we do monitor Twitter.
Yep.
X. Again, I'm old school.
I hear you. Yep.
So people like to chat about good and bad experiences.
Sure.
Normally it's bad experiences.
Yep.
So we do keep an eye on that. I have a lot of people that come to this event year after year that just text me.
Text you. Sure.
And of course, a lot of the wireless team that's here, they know that I'm behind the scenes. Yeah, they're like, hey man, what's going on with this? So we do get a lot of that feedback, so it's just very anecdotal.
Sure.
We do look at, so again, with our DevNet and some of our scripting capability, we can pull some client stats.
Yeah.
We also have some sensors deployed this year. I know Johannes here worked with Ybot.
Yeah.
That they put out some sensors, and we've been able to leverage those to do synthetic testing.
Nice.
So they've been a good product. I know we're partnering them with more, and a lot of customers want some kind of client sensor.
Nice.
So we do get that from the sensors too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so when do you start preparing then for like the next Cisco Live or next large event? How do you prepare then for that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we're in planning as of right now for the next show. So we're going to San Diego next year. We've been here 3 years. Sure. So we've had some repeatability. We know this network pretty well.
Yeah.
We worked with it pretty much. But every year, everything changes. Like, normally after our keynote, we try to, the stress level comes down a level.
Sure.
And then we start planning into next year what we want to do, lessons learned. And we do that, we postmortem all throughout the event. Even now, I know a lot of us are building Ansible playbooks.
Sure.
To continue to build automation and do our tooling and our system.
Yeah.
And then for next year, we'll see. We have to go for site visits, and then when we get probably around February next year, we'll start getting hands-in equipment.
Okay.
And talking with our BUs to say what code we want to run, versions of DNA Center, versions on the controllers, anything new. I know we have Splunk. We're doing stuff with Splunk now.
Sure.
So we're continuing to expand our horizons.
Okay, so how early will you have access then to next year's venue then in San Diego, you think?
I believe we've talked about me making a site visit here probably within the next 2 months.
Okay, so you kind of scope it out.
Yeah, we scope it out. And we also work with those venues.
Sure.
So if they need to upgrade infrastructure, like we did here, I know Al, shout out to Al.
Yep.
I know. So Al did a fantastic job designing this network. A lot of our CX organization helps with that.
Sure.
So, but we go out and help and advise the customer or partners of, hey, what would you guys need to upgrade this venue to do what you need to do?
Sure.
So that way when we take it over, we don't have to augment.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much, Chris. I know you mentioned some of the client challenges when we turned on WPA3 and things along those lines here, and we talked a little bit about clients. So I think we're going to welcome Mr. Dave Benham to the show here. So come on in, Dave. All right. Well, welcome, Dave. Thank you. I don't think you've been on Unplugged here before, so welcome to the show. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule here to join us.
My pleasure.
Want to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you do?
Sure. My name is Dave Benham. I'm a product manager on the wireless team. Currently responsible for the 9800 hardware platform, as well as our AP auto locate feature and some other things we're working on.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. And so, what are you doing here in the NOC at Cisco Live here? So
building an event of this size for a week, we have some different instrumentation needs than most customers, and I'm working with Jason Davis on building some open source dashboards for us to view exactly what we need to see on a recurring basis every day. So we can compare today to yesterday,
Sure.
and we're looking at some unique statistics to monitor the health of the controllers as well as monitor the health of the clients that are attaching to a wireless network.
Okay.
And different settings have different impacts on different brands and
Sure.
types of devices, so we're making sure we can accommodate all of them while still maintaining the overall health of the network.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, I do think we've had Dave on the his tools that he's developed on the show before, and I think we talked a little bit about and showcased one of your tools previously on a Cisco Live episode.
Yep.
So you can always look back for that. But so, I guess how much work are you spending like developing and evolving these tools? I mean, you've developed them for previous lives. I mean, how much work is it taking to kind of iterate and update those here for?
There's definitely a lot of carryover from previous years. So the heat maps that we use that you can see out on the NOC wall, those are from a previous event,
Sure.
and they work at this event.
Okay.
And we use those to represent channel utilization and client count per AP, so we can, at a very high level, realize if there's a problem occurring before it occurs.
Okay.
Some of the other stuff we're learning as we go. We're doing WPA3 for the first time in this event, so there's some new unique statistics that we need to track.
Okay.
And as a result, spending a little time to
Sure.
figure out how to get the data we need and then make it visual in a way that's meaningful to everyone involved. So, I mean, it's not days and days worth of work, but it's a passion of mine. I would happily spend my free time working on this kind of thing. So it's very enjoyable and rewarding to see the statistics come to life and then see people that need those statistics be very thankful that they have them and see it solve some real world problems or potential problems in an event like this.
Sure. So what have you seen then on you mentioned WPA3 then and enabling that this year, I guess. What have you seen? Have there been any surprises, anything that has been, I guess, of concern to you with that? And
so not really surprises. I mean, our escalation team gets involved in other customer networks that enable WPA3.
Sure.
But we're still, I mean, as an industry, very early on with that, and device support differs the way that it behaves, whether fast transition is enabled or not.
Sure.
And you have to make a decision. Do we enable it and potentially affect these clients, or do we disable it, potentially affect those clients?
Sure.
And yesterday we had it off, and today we have it on, and we're seeing very, very different statistics as a result. So roams are much, much better today. So the bulk of the client base that we have at the event this year behaves much better with fast transition with SAE enabled for WPA3 versus having it disabled, at least as far as we can tell. And
so we think we're going to stick with it on then at this point?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. That's cool. So I think previously too, the tool you've developed has been kind of keeping an eye also on the WNCD processes too. How does that look? As far, I know it's something we've talked about previously on the show.
Yeah. So
best practices.
Jason Davis had a lot to do with that piece of it, building the script to pull the data. Now that data is actually available in our newer versions of 9800 code to be streamed to gRPC over gRPC, so you don't need any custom scripts to pull it. We haven't seen any alarming things. We've had elevated WNCD processes, but we've designed the network in a way that allows for it to survive. So we're seeing like 80-ish%, but nothing that's caused any problems that we're aware of and that any of the instrumentation has picked up.
Okay. All right. So I guess anything else you'd like to mention as far as what you've seen here, or anything you're looking forward to for the next live? Or?
Yeah, I always like to see how much of it we can carry over to the next event, how much instrumentation applies to multiple events versus what's custom for this event. Some of the way that I build the graphs is a bit manual because I don't have a better way of doing it. For instance, when you have 2,500 access points and you're trying to show them all as one row in something, you can't see the host names. So it winds up being one pixel representing, like one pixel row representing each AP. So I have some manual ways of lining up the sections of the event that encompass this part of the band and the heat map, that kind of stuff. A lot of that has to be redone. I'm looking for ways to automate that, but as for now, that requires some intervention each time we move from event to event.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you.
It's been great having you on the show. Thanks for your time.
Take care.